This is it, guys. My 100th review. And what better show to review than one with an appropriate name? 100 is a harem anime I avoided for the sole reason of keeping it for this very moment to commemorate my review collection. On top of being a harem, 100 is also mecha, therefore similarities with Infinite Stratos were kinda unavoidable. Right from the start, we get a duel between the protagonist and the blonde entitled girl from the school. While the harem is less interesting here, I gotta say, I kinda like 100 more than Infinite Stratos when it comes to the action and overall story. I prefer this one because we actually get the stakes right away, as we are presented with a very urgent threat. Therefore the fighting makes sense, and is a lot more interesting to observe rather than watching standard combat practice in a safe environment. Obviously, Infinite Stratos is more of a character-driven show. I didn't enjoy it well enough to give its second season a try, but I just couldn't help myself from comparing these two mecha titles. They are both part of the harem ecchi genre, after all, and driving parallels between them should come as a compliment rather than complaint. 100 obviously draws some inspiration from Infinite Stratos, the duel at the start and the obvious reverse trap.
Dare I believe my eyes? It appears you have breasts! And right in the middle of combat, you kissed Hayato Kisaragi!
Plus the unusual compatibility of the main kata. It was nice to see the anime build upon those ideas, giving us a rather captivating experience. They even have the kiss of true love bullshit, saving the protagonist from his hidden unstoppable fury. Having a main character go berserk and save the day whenever the writer gets stuck is a rather common thing for an anime, but I do appreciate that 100 goes the extra mile and adds a passionate kiss to stop the destruction. This show is over the top cheesy and clumsy in its execution, which makes this mess of a narrative charming in a weird way. If I mention that Hayato Kisaragi also has a little sister, hell yeah. We can have a generic sellout harem anime without some sweet interest. Naturally, Karen Kisaragi is in love with her older brother and gets extremely jealous whenever another woman is captivating his attention.
I'm leaving now.
Ew, you pervert!
What?
Stop staring at Miharu's torpedo boobs!
What? Hey, shut up!
I like this. So many edgy tropes crammed into one single show. It's kinda admirable how this does not fall apart from the beginning, but before I go any further, let me explain for a moment the mysterious world we find ourselves in. The story takes place in an alternative universe where humanity is under attack from alien life forms called Savage. It's a pretty cool name for some murderous entities. This premise also reminds me a bit of Freezing, another harem anime I recommend. While then we had the weird looking novas, and the story was rather mature and gory despite the frequent fan service. Here the anime went for a more mainstream approach to an otherwise interesting idea. That being said, humanity wasn't ready to just give up the fight, and has created the hundreds, which are a kind of weapon that get their name from the ability to change into many different forms and are the only thing that can counter the Savage. Only a few individuals are able to use such weapons, and once they receive the proper training, they become slayers. Here enters our protagonist, Hayato Kisaragi, who has successfully enrolled in the Marine Academy city ship, Little Garden. Even now I'm starting to draw parallels to other harem mecha anime, like Hybrid X Art. We had Ataraxia, which was also an Iceland academy, filled with hot, voluptuous teenage girls. 100 has its fair share of beautiful females, not as busty like the ones from Ataraxia, but still attractive and well developed. First guests we see are the ones awaiting for Hayato's arrival. For some reason the protagonist does not like the attention of his female classmates and hides himself from them. He basically dumps them before even dating. Whoa, now that is a real player.
This is weird. Maybe he's supposed to come in on a later flight than what they told us?
Worthy of the Harem King title for sure. Sadly, his selfless actions led to the girls being expelled from the academy. He feels responsible to fight for the honor. This leads us to the classic Infinite Status duel I've previously mentioned, but before that even happened, we also get introduced to the childhood friend archetype, Emilia Crossfold.
My name is Emile. Emile Crossfold, actually. I'm also a new student here at the Little Garden, just like you.
Yeah, the reverse trap chick. Also, apparently, the main character and her had this memorable event when he saved her life as a child, but of course, he has amnesia and does not remember a thing about her.
What do you mean?
Hey! Leave him alone! He doesn't like you that much.
I like how the show rushed this character arc and give us a resolution to both obstacles in merely 3 episodes. This should have been the main conflict of the anime, but they blew it within a quarter season finale. I mean, even the music starts playing while characters still interact with each other. This is only allowed to happen after 6 episodes, or more appropriately, at the end of the series. We also have Claire Harvey, who is the blonde and utter bimbo archetype with a superiority complex, the highest ranked slayer in Little Garden, and her skills have given her the nickname Queen. Again, phrasing, the untouchable queen. Whatever. She's been presented as a ruthless and by the book leader, who enforces obedience upon her classmates.
I already told you the student council would handle this situation.
But we...
That's enough out of you!
Wow, sounds like my kind of woman. Hayato has to challenge her to a duel to prevent the expulsion of 2 students who arrived late to the entrance ceremony because they were looking for him at the airport when he arrived.
If you cannot follow simple rules, then there is no place for you here at Little Garden henceforth. You are expelled.
Obviously, the protagonist is at a disadvantage and only had a few days to prepare for the event. Luckily for him, his roommate Emile was more than eager to have him train and teach him the basics of how to use his 100. As a side note, it was fairly obvious that Emile is actually a girl. Based on her reaction as Hayato entered his room, she overreacted in embarrassment, which is a dead giveaway that something might not be as hard as she claims.
Wait, what are you doing? Stop it!
Anyway, the long-awaited duel happened, and the main character was completely overpowered by the queen. Luckily for the audience and for Hayato, during the duel, he accidentally gropes Claire's boobs.
Please forgive me! So I'm guessing that's a no?
It's more than a no! It's a hell no!
Now those are some big and juicy tits. They obviously deserve a squish, bouncing so beautiful on her chest. They were begging to be touched, and the protagonist instinctively right at them. During the battle, we also learn how Hayato is also compatible with highly complex maneuvers, pun intended, and Claire is forced to use all her power to secure a victory. Despite the initial result, the duel is called a draw, and the students are allowed to stay. Classic storytelling. We get to see some tits, the main character accomplishes his goal, and his opponent learns to respect his skill and determination. But wait, there's more. Our blonde bimbo also slowly falls in love with him.
Whatever, at least I don't need my boobs spilling out of my swimsuit just to get Hayato's attention.
What an outrageous claim! Out of line!
But it was to be expected, since she values strength and discipline. The protagonist has neither, therefore it was natural progression for the relationship to accidentally kiss in the 3rd episode. That's right, folks. Not only is his relationship with Emilia already solved, as we are a mere quarter into the show, but Claire also gets a piece of that pie.
Why are you always taking my first experiences away from me?
I like how Hayato bounces from one kiss to another. It's just so darn realistic to simply fall on a beautiful blonde woman and kiss her. I like anime. It's just such quality storytelling and great character development. Also about 100, that's right from the start is how the protagonist gets to actually kiss the girls from his harem. There are so many other harem kings who simply fail and suck in face with the girls around him. And it's kind of frustrating to see him not able to flirt with them to the full extent of their possibilities. Not here though, as we get Hayato solving spit with Emilia, and then within seconds later with Claire. And so, a love triangle of sorts was born. If you're not counting the little sister, who definitely wants in on the action. So yeah, despite being threatened by destructive alien entities, life seems to be good for the main character. I also think it's funny how his sister is able to read people's fortune. Hayata gets the same warning as Gray did at the very beginning of Fairy Tail. Apparently he should avoid women and water.
I was reading your fortune with my cards. They're warning you to avoid water and women.
Well, we all know how that turned out for Gray Fallbuster, so I can anticipate the fortunes to come towards our main character. The show also introduces this idol figure, Sakura Kirishima. Hayata is being tasked with protecting her, but it turns out that Sakura is willing to marry him and stuff.
So hey, Hayato. Do you want to marry me?
What?
Well, I guess things can only get better. This show has a lot of females to choose from. I give 100 a 7 out of 10. It's a decent horror anime with a lot of cliché, but still an enjoyable, easy watch.